Education profile of India. India, with more than 1 billion residents, has the second largest education system in the world after China. Experts estimate that 32% of its current population is under the age of 15.1, but counter to the image of India as a youthful engine of economic growth where many urban-based citizens work in some of the best technology-centered jobs in the world. Males in India complete just 2.9 years of schooling on average, females just 1.8 years.
And for the small proportion who do persist through primary and secondary schooling, the quality of instruction varies widely, depending on the region of the country and whether one is enrolled in a state-supported public school or a fee-based private school.
Despite the highly inefficient delivery of public services, high levels of teacher absenteeism and non-teaching activity, many Indian students remain motivated to succeed on the college entrance exams. The high level of competition for entry into the Indian Institutes of Technology, the Indian Institutes of Management and other top institutions is enough to spur millions of students to achieve at remarkably high levels, particularly in the areas of science and mathematics. The increased demand for higher education is not currently being met. Only 10% of the age cohort is actually enrolled in higher education. But in a country with such a large population, 10% enrollment amounts to 9 million students, resulting in 2.5 million new college graduates a year. These numbers driven by the private sector opportunities abroad, and increasingly, back in India, will continue to ensure India's prowess in delivering high-quality technical manpower.
Historically, Indian education has been elitist. Traditional Hindu education was tailored to the needs of Brahmin boys who were taught to read and write by a Brahmin teacher. Post-primary education has traditionally catered to the interests of the higher and upwardly mobile castes. In the 19th century, post-primary students were disproportionately Brahmins. Their traditional concern with learning gave them an advantage under British education policies. By the early 20th century, several other castes realized the advantages of education as a passport to political power and managed to acquire formal learning. But even today, the vast majority of students making it through middle school to high school continue to be from high-level castes and middle to upper-class families living in urban areas. This historical barrier, coupled with the post-independence focus of the education system on tertiary education more than primary education, relative to the number of students in each category, makes it unsurprising that India has the largest number of illiterate people in the world. According to the 2001 census, more than 1 out of every 3 Indian citizens, and 42% of adults, is illiterate. The gap between male and female illiteracy, while still a challenge, is decreasing, 25% illiteracy for males and 46% for females. There is also a wide discrepancy in the literacy rates of different states. At one end, the state of Kerala has achieved 90% literacy, while on the other end, the state of Bihar has only 39%. While the government has increased its focus on primary education, the highly inefficient state of public service delivery in education, with high teacher absence and low teaching activity even when teachers are present, is likely to keep learning levels low for the foreseeable future. India has more languages than any other country, 15 main languages and hundreds of other languages and dialects. Hindi is the national language and the primary tongue of 30% of the people. The other main languages are Bengali, Urdu, Punjabi, Gujarati, Tamil and Telugu. And English is ubiquitous in India, a former British colony. While not classified as one of the 15 national languages, English is certainly important in higher education, upward social mobility, and has played a key role in establishing India as an economic power globally. Indian education system. The Indian constitution made a commitment to make primary and middle grade education, for students ages 6 to 14, free and universal by 1960, with the two national policy statements on education in 1968 and 1986, and revised in 1992, placing much emphasis on this goal. But India's inability to allocate resources effectively and efficiently has made that goal unattainable even 45 years later. There has, however, been a considerable increase in the spread of educational institutions since India gained its independence in 1947. For instance, during the period 1950–51 and 2001–2002, the number of primary schools grew threefold, while the number of middle, upper primary schools increased 16 times. Today India has more than 600,000 primary schools serving 115 million students. The average teacher-to-student ratio is 1:43, and more than 2 million upper primary schools serving 45 million students. The average teacher-to-student ratio is 1:38. Another recent trend is the growth of private schools that receive no government aid and rely on student fees. The Indian school system follows the British structure. Primary school consists of grades 1 to 5, ages 6 to 11, and middle school consists of grades 6 to 8, ages 11 to 14. Both are compulsory. However, researchers estimate that an average of 70% of children between the ages of 6 and 14 actually attend school. Primary stage, 5 years. The curriculum includes grades 1 and 2, one language, the mother tongue, the regional language, mathematics, art of healthy and productive living, grades 3 to 5, one language, the mother tongue, the regional language, mathematics, environmental studies, art of healthy and productive living. Upper primary, lower secondary, middle stage, 3 years. The grade 6 to 8 curriculum includes 3 languages, the mother tongue, the regional language, Hindi and English, mathematics, science and technology, social sciences, work education, art education, fine arts, visual, health and physical education. Mother tongue or regional language is the medium of instruction for most Indian primary students, although students from elite families are typically sent to English medium schools as English is considered a distinction of social class. Many states now start teaching English as a second language by grade 3, though in practice the execution of this varies widely across states. The secondary stage consists of grades 9 to 12, ages 14 to 17. India has more than 100,000 secondary and senior secondary schools serving 30 million students. The average teacher-to-student ratio is 1:34. Even though education in government schools continues to be free for grades 9 and above, the majority of enrollment is in private schools whose fees varies considerably. Although UNESCO data indicates that nearly half of all children enrolled in secondary school in 1999–2000, up from 30% in 1980, studies seem to indicate that only 20% of students actually attend secondary school. Public exams at the end of grades 10 and 12 drive instruction at the school level. Therefore, there is significant difference in the curriculum offered correlating to the various examination boards.
Secondary stage grades 9 and 10, 2 years. The curriculum includes 3 languages, mother tongue, regional language Hindi, English. Some schools offer as electives other languages such as Sanskrit, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, French, German, Arabic, Persian, Spanish. Mathematics, science and technology, social sciences, work education or pre-vocational education, art education, fine arts, visual and performing, physical and health education. Mathematics secondary curriculum includes the study of arithmetical concepts, number systems, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, statistics, measurement, graphs and coordinate geometry. Science and technology curriculum is designed around 6 major themes: matter, energy, living world, natural resources, environment and the universe.
Upper secondary education. The majority of students exit school after grade 10, approximately age 15. For those who stay, schooling becomes differentiated. Based on performance on the 10th grade subject exams, students enter an upper secondary stream for their last 2 years of schooling before university, grades 11 to 12, the most prestigious stream, which also has the highest cutoff in terms of marks required in the grade 10 exams, is the science stream, the second is commerce, and the third is humanities, arts. Vocational and technical education is also an option in higher secondary schools. The aim of vocational education is to gain a broad knowledge about occupations, not training in specialized subjects. The courses consist of a language course, 15%, general foundation courses, 15%, and vocational electives, 70%, of which about half consists of practical work. Electives are chosen from a wide variety of areas including agriculture, engineering and technology, business and commerce, home science, health and paramedical services, and humanities. Courses are employment-oriented, but also can provide access to courses in related areas of higher education. Examinations at this level are conducted by the All India and State Boards of Vocational Education. Only 10% of students are opting for the vocational stream, against a year 2000 target of 25%. This is attributed to the lack of industry school linkages, and the system hasn't convinced students that this stream can prepare them for real jobs and careers.
Post-secondary or tertiary education, also referred to as third stage, third level education, or higher education, is the non-compulsory educational level following the completion of a school providing a secondary education, such as a high school, secondary school, or gymnasium. Post-secondary training refers to the ones whose highest level of tutorial attainment is an apprenticeship or trade certificate or degree, including Centres de Formation Professionnelle University, CEGEP, or other non-university certificate or degree, university certificate or degree underneath bachelor degree. Post-secondary education means the next step after completing Class 12. General subjects like English, Hindi, social science, mathematics, and science are taught before post-secondary education. A specialization, like arts and humanities, commerce, or science, is often chosen at the post-secondary education level.
In the Indian system, higher or tertiary education starts after the 10+2 framework of higher education in India is very complex. It includes various types of institutions like universities, colleges, institutes of national importance, polytechnics, etc. Universities are also of different types, like central universities, which are formed by Government of India, by an Act of Parliament, which are responsible for arranging and distributing resources required by University Grant Commission, UGC, state universities, deemed universities, aided and unaided, and private universities. India has a federal setup, and the Indian constitution places education as a concurrent responsibility of both the centre and state. While the centre coordinates and fixes standards in higher and technical education, school education is the responsibility of state. Under the Department of Higher Education, there are several regulatory bodies and research councils which are responsible for the higher education in India. Technical vocational education and training country profiles. The formal TVET system in India is structured as follows. Optional, vocational programs are offered in 9 and 10 classes at the lower secondary level, ISCED 2, duration, 1 year. Admission requirements, pass lower general secondary education, ISCED 2, taught in secondary and senior secondary schools under Ministry of Human Resource Development. Graduates are able to enroll in TVET in the upper secondary vocational stream, and basic diploma and industrial training institute programs at the upper secondary level, ISCED 3. Upper secondary vocational stream programs are offered at the upper secondary level, ISCED 3, duration, 2 years. Admission requirements: pass Year 10 of general education, or completed lower secondary TVET program. Taught in senior secondary schools under Ministry of Human Resource Development. Graduates from upper secondary vocational stream programs are able to enroll in programs at the post-secondary non-tertiary level, ISCED 4, or the Bachelor of Vocational Education, ISCED 6. Basic Diploma program is offered at the lower secondary level, ISCED 3, duration, 3 years. Admission requirements: pass Year 10 of general education, or completed lower secondary TVET program. Taught in polytechnics. Graduates from basic diploma programs are able to enroll in programs at the post-secondary non-tertiary level, ISCED 4, at polytechnics, or pursue a Bachelor of Vocational Education, ISCED 6. Vocational training programs are offered at the lower secondary level, ISCED 3, duration, 1 to 3 years. Admission requirements: completed lower secondary TVET program. Taught in industrial training institutes. Graduates from vocational training programs receive national trade certificates that enable them to seek gainful employment. Advanced diploma programs are offered at the post-secondary non-tertiary level, ISCED 4, duration, 2 to 3 years. Admission requirements: upper secondary vocational stream or basic diploma graduates, ISCED 3, taught in polytechnics. Graduates from advanced diploma programs are able to proceed to diploma courses, the Bachelor of Vocational Education, ISCED 6, or seek gainful employment. The Bachelor of Vocational Education is offered at the tertiary level, ISCED 6, duration, 3 years. Admission requirements: Grade 12 of general education or advanced diploma graduates at the post-secondary non-tertiary education level, ISCED 4, taught in colleges and universities under the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Non-formal and informal TVET systems. Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramin Kaushalya Yojana. Ministry, organization responsible, Ministry of Rural Development. Target audience: young people from poor communities. The training program is provided based on market demand and potential market opportunities, giving young people from poor communities an opportunity to upgrade their skills and enter the skilled workforce in growing sectors of the economy. Admission requirements: must be between the age of 15 to 35 years. Qualifications received: graduates receive a certificate from an assessment agency under the National Council for Vocational Training or Sector Skill Council. With this qualification, graduates are able to seek employment in the private sector or start their own enterprise. Integrated Skill Development Scheme. Ministry, organization responsible, Ministry of Textiles. Target audience: individuals, institutions that provide training and skill development programs in the textile and apparel sectors. Admission requirements: must have completed secondary education, ISCED 3, qualifications received. Graduates receive a certificate from an assessment agency under the National Council for Vocational Training or Sector Skill Council. With this qualification, graduates are able to seek employment in the private sector or start their own enterprise. Employment through skill training and placement. Ministry, organization responsible, Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation. Target audience: unskilled urban poor. Admission requirements: must not have undergone skill development training in any other trade during the last 3 years. Qualifications received: graduates receive a certificate from an assessment agency under the State Urban Livelihoods Mission. With this qualification, graduates are able to seek employment in the private sector or start their own enterprise. The recognition of prior learning framework is an outcome-based qualification framework linked to the National Skill Qualification Framework, against which prior learning through formal and informal channels is assessed and certified. The RPL process includes pre-assessment, skills gap training and final assessment leading to a certificate.
Apex educational organizations in India. India functions as a federalized country, with 29 states and 7 union territories. Significant powers are allocated at state level for policy creation and implementation across all sectors. In 1976, education became a concurrent subject. The central and state governments both have responsibility for its development. In practice, this means that the central government develops overarching policy which the states adapt as necessary according to the context and create implementation plans. The Ministry of Human Resource Development has responsibility for education at the central level, with 2 departments, school education and literacy, and higher education. To support these departments and the state governments, Apex organizations have been established with specific responsibilities for different aspects of education. The sections below outline the main areas of focus for 3 of these bodies most relevant to the schools sector.
Quality assurance. The All India Council for Technical Education is a national-level apex advisory body that has the statutory authority for planning, formulation, and maintenance of norms and standards in technical education. It is responsible for quality assurance through accreditation, and maintains parity of certification and awards. The National Skill Development Agency and the Directorate General of Training under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship are the apex organizations for quality assurance of programs relating to formal vocational education and training. Vocational training programs, at the ISCED 3 level, are offered through a network of 13,350 government and private-owned industrial training institutes. The National Council for Vocational Training, NCVT, is responsible for establishing guidelines for the formation, creation, setup of new institutes and trades. In the meantime, industrial training institutes are under the administrative and financial control of state governments or union territory administrations. Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET, in India is known as Vocational Education and Training, VET, and aims to provide lifelong learning opportunities, develop a healthy attitude among students towards work and life, enhance student employability, and reduce the mismatch between the demand and supply of skilled labor, following a sum of Indian TVET system aims and best practices. Cater to the diversity of the Indian education and training systems, allow the development of a set of qualifications for each level based on outcomes that are accepted across the nation. Provide structure for the development and maintenance of progression pathways, which provide access to qualifications and assist people to move easily between different education and training sectors, and between those sectors and the labor market. Give individuals an option to progress through education and training and gain recognition of their prior learning and experiences. Underpin national regulatory and quality assurance arrangements for education and training. Support and enhance the national and international mobility of persons with NSQF-compliant qualifications through increased recognition of the value and comparability of Indian qualifications. Facilitate the awarding and transfer of credits and progression routes within the Indian education and training systems. Current reforms and policy discussion. Current reform and policy discussions in India regarding TVET focus on more effective promote national standards in skilling through active involvement of employers, make vocational education and training aspirational for youth, ensure both vertical and horizontal pathways for skilled persons, enhance the employability and livelihood of individuals. Increase the capacity and quality of training infrastructure and trainers, align demand and supply of skilled workers with sectoral requirements and reduce mismatch, make provisions to meet the skilling needs of socially and geographically disadvantaged people, leverage modern technology to ensure scale, access, and outreach, recognize the value of on-the-job and apprenticeship training.
Phòng Thương mại và Công nghiệp Đức tại Việt Nam GIC AHK Việt Nam là đơn vị duy nhất tư vấn và phối hợp trong lĩnh vực đào tạo nghề song hành tại Việt Nam theo tiêu chuẩn của Hiệp hội các phòng thương mại và công nghiệp Đức DIHK. AHK Academy, bộ phận giáo dục và đào tạo trực thuộc GIC AHK Việt Nam, chịu trách nhiệm hỗ trợ các doanh nghiệp lựa chọn các cơ sở đào tạo nghề có uy tín để hợp tác, đồng thời tư vấn thiết lập, tổ chức những chương trình dạy nghề đáp ứng được nhu cầu tuyển dụng của từng doanh nghiệp.
I think in the near future we will see another industrial revolution. We call it in Germany Industry 4.0 or digitalization. And for this development, I think this will challenge all of us and all the companies. And here I think vocational training system, a dual vocational training system, really provides the best solution and the best preparation for that.
Mô hình đào tạo nghề song hành mang tính thực tiễn cao với các ngành nghề đa dạng hiện đang được đào tạo như cơ khí công nghiệp, cơ điện tử, đầu bếp, chuyên viên nhà hàng cùng nhiều ngành khác trong tương lai được đào tạo theo tiêu chuẩn của DIHK Cộng hòa Liên bang Đức.
Chương trình đào tạo nghề song hành bao gồm học lý thuyết tại trường dạy nghề và bên cạnh đó là học thực hành trực tiếp tại xưởng. Chương trình thường kéo dài từ 3 năm, 3 năm rưỡi tùy theo ngành.
Chương trình đào tạo nghề song hành là mô hình giảng dạy kết hợp giữa lý thuyết và thực hành. 40% quỹ thời gian, học viên sẽ được đào tạo lý thuyết những kiến thức ngành nghề cơ bản ở các trường cao đẳng dạy nghề hoặc các trường đại học phù hợp. 60% quỹ thời gian, học viên sẽ thực hành trực tiếp trong môi trường chuyên nghiệp tại các doanh nghiệp theo khuôn khổ hợp đồng đào tạo nghề giữa học viên và doanh nghiệp. Chương trình giảng dạy dựa trên giáo trình và quy chuẩn đào tạo nghề của Đức.
Sau 3 năm rưỡi theo học chương trình đào tạo nghề song hành kỹ thuật công nghiệp theo tiêu chuẩn DIHK của Cộng hòa Liên bang Đức, tôi tự tin về chuyên môn của mình cũng như kỹ năng mềm được đào tạo trong suốt quá trình học tập.
Chất lượng luôn được đảm bảo, vậy những cái tài liệu hướng dẫn cụ thể, những quy trình cũng như là công tác đánh giá sau đào tạo. Doanh nghiệp có thể chủ động về nguồn nhân lực cho mình, đáp ứng được cái nhu cầu riêng của từng doanh nghiệp.
Chương trình đào tạo nghề song hành hoàn toàn được tổ chức, quản lý và kiểm tra chất lượng theo tiêu chuẩn DIHK Cộng hòa Liên bang Đức tại Việt Nam dưới sự thống nhất của doanh nghiệp và cơ sở đào tạo. Sau quá trình đào tạo, GIC AHK Việt Nam kết hợp với Trung tâm Đào tạo tiến hành kiểm tra chất lượng của học viên thông qua các kỳ thi lý thuyết và thực hành. Sau khi tốt nghiệp, học viên sẽ được Phòng Thương mại và Công nghiệp Đức tại Việt Nam cấp chứng chỉ theo tiêu chuẩn GIC AHK Việt Nam và DIHK Cộng hòa Liên bang Đức.
Em đã tích lũy được rất là nhiều kiến thức trong suốt quá trình học và thực hành, đáp ứng được nhu cầu của các nhà tuyển dụng lao động và nhu cầu của xã hội hiện nay. Với cái kinh nghiệm thực tế này, em được đánh giá rất là cao trong quá trình đi xin việc làm.
Với những ưu điểm nổi bật, chương trình đào tạo nghề song hành là lựa chọn hợp lý để học viên được cùng lúc học tập và trải nghiệm thực tế trong môi trường chuyên nghiệp. Chương trình đào tạo nghề song hành đã và đang nhận được sự quan tâm từ các doanh nghiệp. GIC AHK Việt Nam mong muốn hợp tác nhân rộng mô hình đào tạo nghề song hành nhằm mục tiêu hỗ trợ, cung cấp nguồn nhân lực có tay nghề và trình độ cho doanh nghiệp, cũng như đảm bảo được sự phát triển bền vững cho thị trường lao động tại Việt Nam, đồng thời nâng cao chất lượng đào tạo trong các ngành nghề. AHK Academy Fit for Life.